Here's our buoy tent update for August 2nd. I want to start off by talking about some of the stuff that I mentioned yesterday about kind of backing off on some of the information. You know, truth be told, if I hadn't even brought up that topic, most folks probably wouldn't have even realized that I'd changed the format of these updates. But again, you know, I've spent my entire life learning from other anglers. And here recently, through doing the TV show and Outdoor GPS back in the day, and through guiding the anglers conventions, I do every single one of those things, including these videos, to try and give back. Folks helped me out when I was growing up. No one in my family fished or hunted. And it was fishing guides, it was tackle shops, it was articles that were being written. Those things are what encouraged me to follow my passion. And this is my chance to try and share the knowledge that I've learned with you folks. So even though I may not be giving very specific information, very detailed information, it will still be very relevant information. It will still be extremely helpful for you guys to come down here. I want folks to catch fish. I want people to find success. There's no doubt about that. That's what I've based my entire business around, my entire career around. I want you to find success. I want you to have a good time. So please come down, catch fish, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you. That being said, this year, I'll only backtrack. When I first started doing these videos here about, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago now, we had over 1 million salmon coming back. This year we have about 600,000, which is still phenomenal. I mean, that's still over 3 times what we had for spring Chinook, so it's still going to be a great run. But because we have those constraining stocks with the Thule and most importantly the Upriver Bright, I want to make sure that the season stays open through August 24th, not for my own purposes, but for every sport angler out there. If it stays open through August 24th, then more people have a chance of coming down here, because what inevitably happens, as soon as Chinook closes, every sport angler disappears. There's still a number of guys that are down here running trips. It won't hurt us for the most part. It really won't hurt, you know, our businesses by any means. But for whatever reason, people are so focused in on catching Chinook that they will leave this town, leave Astoria, leave this fishery if catching Chinook is not an option. Even though once August 24th comes around, it goes from 1 fish per person to 2 fish per person. You're allowed double the catch. But again, I'm going to help. I promise you, I am going to help. It's just going to be done in a little bit different way, so that way we can try and encourage as many people to come down here. We need the license sales. We need those people engaged. We need those people to participate, because if we don't, we lose out on a lot of tackle sales. We lose out on a lot of support for ODFW and WDFW. It's very important for us to get as many people fishing as possible. So, off the soapbox, let's move on to today's report. I started out by taking my crew out into the ocean, and they were not too happy out there. It was a little bit lumpy, and even though the bite was pretty darn good, we decided it was probably in everyone's best interest if we just came back in. So, quick report for the ocean. It was good from pretty much CR Buoy, Buoy 1, north all the way up to the condos. The condos are located along Long Beach. It's a big, huge set of condos that you just see right there on the beach. It's about the 17 north line on your GPS, and it's probably about, 3-4 miles north of the lighthouse. And anywhere from 60 feet of water out to 120 feet of water, and fishing from basically the surface on down to really pretty shallow. I think the deepest fish we caught was about 24 on the line counter with 12 ounces of lead. So the most important thing out there in the ocean is look for structure. Find birds, find whales, find bait, find a rip, and you will inevitably find some coho as well. So after we got off the ocean, after it was a little bit too rough for the crew, we jumped back inside and started fishing the river. Now, if you have paid attention to these updates over the last few years, we've talked a lot about tides. The tides today was pretty much outgoing all morning until about 12:30, 1 o'clock when it switched. So when we came back in, it was about 10 o'clock, and I was marking plenty of fish, but it was right in the meat, in the middle of that outgo. Nothing happening. The moment it switched and that incoming tide started gaining some speed, bam, 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 we started catching fish. And there were probably only 6 or 7 boats out there. We saw 2 or 3 fish get caught, We had 6 hookups, or 6 bites, 4 hookups, and landed 2 Chinook, and they were definitely fall Chinook. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't feel like Buoy 10 quite yet. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the lack of people down here right now, if it's maybe just my own schedule, the fact that we didn't have a Buoy 10 convention, but it just doesn't quite feel like it. But I'll tell you what, when that bite started going, because it went only for about 2 passes, but when it started going, the adrenaline rush came and I was in go mode. It was like, all right, here we go. Let's start lining them up, whack and stack. Here we go, here we go. And every pass we're getting 2 or 3 bites, and then done. So it was short-lived. It was fun while it lasted. You know, as far as flasher color, it really didn't matter. We had a corporate event. Every single flasher color was exactly the same, and every rod got bit at every depth. We were basically fishing anywhere from 60 feet of water to 20 feet of water. But the most important thing, again, if you refer back to some of the past updates, incoming tide, these fish will suspend. They come up in the water column. So outgoing tide, we saw them all on the deck. Incoming tide, they were climbing up in the water column. So even though we were in 60 feet of water, we were catching them at 28 on the line counter down to 45 on the line counter. So they will suspend on the incoming tide. Anchovies were the bait. I just used the bait that I had out there in the ocean. So nothing special. That is our update for August 2nd. It was a long day today. I felt bad for the crew, but hey, they toughened up and we kept on fishing. They didn't quit, and it paid off. It was really cool to see that many fish in the river. So they are here, but we just need to figure them out. There's only been 2 days and not very many people on the water, so it's been tough to try and bracket these fish and figure out exactly where they are from tongue point down to Buoy 10. But the amount of fish I saw on the graph, what we saw on the incoming tide bite, I think it's time. I think this weekend could be good. As soon as the tides start growing, the bite might die again, but we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I promise you, I will be giving you information that will be relevant and will help you out this season. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.